What's up gamers, Coach Brandon here, and today we'll be talking about properly ending the game when you have a lead so that you can avoid enemy comebacks. Remember, if you have any questions or want any help climbing, you can sign up for coaching with me or send me a message in the Game Gym Discord. Okay, let's get into it. To warm up, you should go into the practice range and practice using your champ with about 3 to 4 items. You want to do this so you know how strong your abilities are with this amount of items, as this is the most likely how much power you will have when you're trying to end the game. Knowing how much damage you do with your items, and knowing how these items affect your cooldowns and your abilities is extremely important to know, so you can push the limits of your champ without overdoing it. The most important thing to do in the endgame is to siege the enemy base. When you have a strong lead, you should look to make strong pushes with your team and apply pressure to the enemy turrets. You want to take as many turrets as you can, because the more turrets that are down, the more control of the map your team has. Taking turrets is the first thing you should look to do if you have a lead, as it gives you gold and map control. Both things that are extremely important for the rest of the game. If you're able to get a few kills on the enemy team, ping your team to shove a wave into the enemy turret and take as many as you can before the champs that were dead come back up. Remember that even doing good damage to the turrets can be enough. You don't always have to take the turret to have a good siege push. Once you have established strong map control, you can then look to take stronger neutral objectives, like fighting for Dragon Soul and the Baron. Dragon Soul is a nice permanent buff for your team, and you should prioritize it if you already have a dragon lead. But if you don't, you should shift your priority to the Baron. Baron Nashor gives the entire team a huge buff that makes your minions extremely strong. Using this buff, your team should split into all 3 lanes to make sure that you're taking advantage of the buff minions to tear down the enemy base. Baron is by far the best time to siege, and your entire enemy team should be doing nothing but hitting the enemy towers during the duration of its buff, as it is too important to waste. In an unrated match, when you see your team has an early lead, you should look to make plays over the Rift Herald in the early game and the Baron in the late game. Focusing on dragons is good, but for the purpose of this lesson, we're going to look at the other side of the map. The early Rift Herald is really good for getting one of your lanes a strong lead, as it almost always guarantees at least 2 turret plates. Then, the second Rift Herald can be used to take one of the outer turrets and push into the inner turrets. Using the pressure that you applied with the Rift Herald, your team should look to get 1 or 2 picks on the other team and then look to take the Baron. Once your team has a Baron buff, back and spend your gold and then look to make a strong siege with your team, applying pressure to all 3 lanes. With the enemies spread thin, they can only cover so much, so wherever they are weak is where you should focus on sieging. I'm Coach Brandon, and today we went over how to end the game when you take a lead. Remember that videos are posted all the time on the app, so constantly check it to make sure you're up to date. Always remember to stay hungry, stay humble, and I'll see you next time.